Tired of all the stress searching for the perfect apartment? What if I told you there's a way to automate apartment hunting and cut your search time in half? I've tried out the latest technology and created a robust system to simplify the whole process for you. Let's dive right into how you can find your next dream home with the least amount of stress as possible. Being a digital nomad who have moved around a lot and looked for many apartments in my life, I can totally understand the struggle of looking for the apartment. First, it's just a lot of pressure. It's a big decision to make. It's somewhere you're gonna stay for at least a year or two. So there's a lot of pressure of making the right decision. Second, it's just a lot of things to consider. You wanna look at all the different Facebook groups, all the websites, making sure that it's well furnished, like whether or not it's close to all the amenities and the cafes and the bars, and whether you have great neighbors. Does it allow pets, and does it allow you to actually furnish your apartment, and you have to go visit and schedule with the agent, blah, 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 blah. It is a lot to take in. First, before you even jump into the battle, you need to make sure you have a plan of attack. So we're entering the pre-hunt stage. Step one, you want to make sure that you are looking for the apartment at the right time, not too early and not too late. Based on my experience, most people list their apartments about 1 to 2 months before they want to start renting it out. So if you start looking for the apartment way too early, let's say 3 to 4 months before, by the time you have nailed down the apartment that you're looking for, the owner might want you to already make a deposit before you're ready to do so. However, if you're making the decision and search too late in the process, you might not have enough time to actually lock down the apartment because you might already be competing with a lot of other candidates who are already eyeing the same apartment too. So next, you want to make sure that you set goals and milestones of when you want to do what. For example, you want to set just 1 week fully focusing on searching and researching on apartments, the areas, the requirements for your apartment. Another 1 week to actually coordinate with the agents of when you want to go visit. Another 1 week to actually visit all the apartments you have shortlisted. And finally, another 1 week to make a decision, submit your offer, and etc. Next, you want to make sure that you have a clear idea of your requirements for the apartment itself. So I recommend creating a document listing down your requirements, your must-haves, nice-to-haves. So let's dive into an example right now. So there you go, and I have a full clarity of what exactly I'm looking for, and I can take this with me and go to the battlefield with confidence. All right, now that you have your plan of attack, you can finally begin the hunt. And before you start looking for your apartments, it'll be really good to have an idea and clarity of the areas where you want to live in, and you want to narrow down the areas to, let's say, 3 to 4 top areas so that you don't get really overwhelmed. So you can go to Google and look at blogs and websites and articles and talk to friends and get recommendations. Sure, you can do a lot of that, but it takes a lot of time. So what I would do is I will go to ChatGPT and I will ask ChatGPT to give me some suggestions of good areas in Lisbon. I'm gonna use Lisbon as an example for this whole video because I live in Portugal. So this will be a real life example of how I plan to use this system. And it's good to be really specific in the help you need from ChatGPT. The more specific you are, the clearer and the better the results that you get in terms of the suggestions. So I'm just gonna hit enter and voila. So considering all the requirements, ChatGPT, I believe, would have crawled through all the websites, so I don't have to do this. It has come up with 5 different suggestions. Yeah, so everything kind of looks nice and it suits my requirements. But of course, you want to do further research. Oh, actually, bonus tip, you can also ask ChatGPT to simplify and create a comparison table. So this will help me narrow down further and have a better idea on how to compare all the different areas. Because for me, being close to Central is quite important because I'm a very social, outgoing person. So I want to be really close to all the happening in the town. So there you go. So I've got this beautiful table of all the areas, and I've got an idea of how many minutes, what's the distance to center, and in kilometers as well. Oh, and ChatGPT went the extra mile actually to even look at what are the different parks around the area, the amenities, touristy level. So this is a beautiful comparison table that you could ask ChatGPT to easily generate for you. And from here, just make sure that you narrow down your search to top 3 to 4 areas, and that's it. And be okay with eliminating some of the options because you don't want to get into decision paralysis. So now it's finally time to look for your apartments. So go to your favorite website or where people upload their apartments that they're renting. And remember, here you have also listed down all of the requirements in terms of the apartments you're looking for. And you can put all of those details into your filter so you don't have to get overwhelmed by 209 homes that you have in your search results here. All right, now that you have all of your possible options here, you're gonna start shortlisting just based on the images. Okay, this is looking nice. I'm gonna open this. This also looking nice. So the thing is, you can keep evaluating each option, but the problem here is at some point you will be overwhelmed with too many options still, and it's really hard to go back and forth and look at each individual page and look for the last page, and you get lost in between. So it's really important for me to create a place where I can compile all the options to have like a high level view of all the options I'm considering with all the different considerations such as the pricing and the bedroom size, the area. So what I will normally do is one by one, copy all of this information and create a table of comparison with all of the main information here. Okay, so as you can see, this is taking a lot of time and it's very tedious and boring. So you can completely short circuit this process by using this favorite tool that I just discovered called Magical. Magical is a magical software that allows you to, first, I'm going to talk about the second feature later. Magical allows you to scrape information on any websites and transfer all this information into a spreadsheet magically. So let me just give you a quick demo of how this works. So I have this Magical Chrome extension installed on my browser, and I'm gonna click Magical. And as you can see, it immediately identifies all the important variables on this website. So it already captures the name of the apartment, the location of the apartment, the price, the amount of minimum deposit, the number of bedrooms, the information here, and you can also add any additional variables that was not captured automatically. You can do this and then call it apartment size. All right, so once you're happy with all the variables that you want to capture and look at in your spreadsheet, you can click on Done. And the really cool thing is you don't have to do this for all the tabs that you have open. You can only need to do this once. And when you hit Transfer To, let's create a new spreadsheet, and you can just hit all the tabs that you have open and hit that, voila, magical. I've cleaned this up, and just within a few seconds, I have all the apartments that I'm considering populated in the spreadsheet in just beautiful, clean way. This is saving me so much time and stress from having to do this one by one. And of course, you can optimize this further. And what I like to do is I like to put some notes, my personal notes for each apartment that I'm considering. And then I will put status and I'll put priority, and I'll explain all of this in a second. So for status, it's, right now I only have like 7 apartments, but imagine I will go through all the different areas. I consider different bedroom sizes, not just T1. You will have a lot of apartments to keep track of. So it's good to have an indication of where you're at for each apartment. All right, so what I'll do here is I will add data validation, which will add all the different options here. So a few status that I will consider is contacted, whether or not I've contacted the agent, in conversation, viewed, or eliminated, kind of like a Hunger Games style. If I'm no longer interested or something happens. Okay, I think this is enough. Another useful column to have is what I call priority. So again, this is easy to manage with just 7 apartments, but imagine having like 50 or 100 of this. And trust me, I've been there. I've been looking for apartments for like 2 to 3 months at one point. So it's useful to know that out of all the options that you have, which one are you actually considering? So I'll put like priority 1, for example, 2, this 2, and then 3. And then you can easily sort by priority so that you have an easy view of all the apartments that are on your top priority that we want to make sure that you can lock in. So next, you want to contact all the apartments that you have shortlisted to just clarify it's fitting all your requirements that are important to you, and then schedule for viewing. So the thing is, this process often takes a lot of time, a lot of back and forth messaging, following up with them if they didn't reply. So another feature that I really like about Magical is the AI writer and text autofill feature. So instead of having to text one by one and repeating the same message when I talk to these agents and owners, I can instead create a message template on Magical. So here, I'm gonna create a new template. Let's call it interested in apartment. And instead of thinking what to write, which often takes some mental energy, you can just tell the AI right away to compose a message for you. Voila, there you go. Beautifully composed message, looking very professional. I will even personalize this even more by adding some placeholders. Let me show you how it works. Came across an apartment listing and I want to be extra personal and make an impression by adding the name of the apartment here. And I can do that by adding a name variable here. When I add this template on the message box on the Idealista page, it will automatically fill this placeholder with the name of the apartment, which is pretty magical. So these are all the questions that I would like to clarify with any apartment, but in case I have something that I wasn't sure of, I can also add a placeholder here and I'll add question. Voila, so we have created a template and let's give this a run. So I'm gonna pop into the message box here and put /, which is the shortcut for Magical, and look for the template I just created, which is interested in apartment. And there you go. You can see that it magically identified the name of the apartment, and I can just verify that here. And then I can also add a customized question, such as, is the sofa still new? Because who wants to sleep in an old, dirty, smelling couch, right? And then I will click insert. And it's really beautiful that you get to personalize all of these messages, because let me tell you something about personalizing the message and building a relationship with the agent or the owner. This is a tough market, you guys. You're competing with a lot of people who wants the same nice apartments as you do. So a little bit of personalization goes a long way to let the agent or owner have a little bit of preference and liking toward you and want to have you over and prefer to give the apartment to you in case there are other competing offers. Pro tip. So now that you've indicated your interests and sent out your first message to the owners, a lot of the time they take some time to get back to you. So you want to follow up with them. And of course, you can create another follow-up template on Magical. Let's go back to Magical here. I'll create a new trigger, follow-up apartment. And then I'm gonna ask the AI to create a follow-up message to a property owner or agent. And let's wait for Magical to compose the message. Okay, there you go. A really beautiful and thoughtful message to follow up on the apartment I'm interested in. Wow, there's a lot of thoughts that went into this message. Like, I'm sure if I'm at the receiving end reading this, I'll be really touched. Someone really appreciates my apartment, the location, amenities, ready to proceed, super polite and thoughtful. Like, I would like to reply to this message if I receive something like this. So this is really good. So I'm gonna save this. Okay, so when I go to my messages, as you can see, these were all my old messages and they just ghosted me and never replied. So I can do this, find the template that I just created, follow up on apartment, and voila, the message is populated. I can just go hit send and do the same thing for all the apartments and all the agents who ghosted on me, and send this beautiful, thoughtful message so they feel compelled to get back to you. All right, we're now almost at the end of this process. Now that you have listed your apartments you're interested in, you clarified this with the agent, you're finally ready to view the apartments. Now, when it comes to viewing, I highly recommend that you condense all of your appointments into a few days and go view them in one go. And I'm gonna give you a really cool trick so that you really take control of your time and save you a lot of the back and forth effort from having to agree on a time to view the apartments. So you can use calendaring systems such as Calendly or a new feature on Google Calendar that I really like called the appointment features. I don't know if this is actually called appointment features, but it allows you to create appointments. And I'm gonna walk you through on how to set this up right now. So you wanna go to your Google Calendar and then pick the slots when you will be available to view the apartments. Let's say Friday 4 to 7. Let's give it a name, apartment viewing. And then go to appointment schedule and click set up schedule. And here you can, let's say we don't want this to repeat. We want to add a specific dates when you're ready to view. So let's say I can also view on Saturday between 9 to 1 p.m. and then Sunday between 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. An important thing to set up here is you want to make sure you have enough buffer time in between your appointments to account for travel time or anything that might happen in between. So I'll put at least 45 minutes between appointments, and then I'll click next. And you can be a little bit more specific here and ask, please specify the name of the apartment and location or address to me via email. Thank you. So this is what the landlord or agents will see, and you can see that they can now select all the slots when you're available, pick it, and then put their names and details and book an appointment on your calendar. And voila, instead of doing a lot of back and forth figuring out when is the best time to view, you can just share this link with them, get them to pick a time slot, and it will appear right away on your calendar, saving you all the time and headache from having to do scheduling. So there you go, an end-to-end process on how you can systematically do apartment hunting with the least amount of stress as possible. Make use of all the automation and cool tools that I've tested so that you can save your time, save the headache, and you can easily find your dream home with just a few clicks. If you haven't downloaded Magical, I highly recommend that you do that right now. It will save you so much time and hassle from having to do all the data scrapping and following up with the landlords and agents and sending them all these repeated messages. It can do all that for you instantly, magically. It's completely free to use. Go to Get Magical to have it installed in your Chrome extension, or simply click the link in the description down below. So thank you so much for watching. If you find any of this useful, please leave some comments below on what tools you find useful, what tips that you like the most. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and good luck for your hunting. Let the game begin.